The year was 336 BCE. Macedon, a kingdom in the north of Greece, stood at a crossroads. King Philip II, a brilliant strategist and ruthless leader, had been assassinated. He left behind a young heir, his son Alexander, just 20 years old. Many doubted the young man's ability to rule. They saw him as untested, unproven. They were wrong. Alexander possessed a fiery ambition, a sharp intellect, and a charisma that inspired loyalty. He quickly moved to secure his position. Alexander faced challenges from within Macedon and from rebellious Greek city-states. He crushed his rivals with swift and decisive action. He demonstrated his military prowess and ruthlessness. He sent a message to the world. This was not the time for weakness. Alexander was ready to claim his father's mantle and forge his own destiny. He dreamed of conquering the mighty Persian Empire to the east. This ambition would consume him for the rest of his short but remarkable life. Alexander's early life had been shaped by ambition and the pursuit of excellence. His father, Philip, had instilled in him a thirst for conquest. He provided him with the finest education, bringing in the renowned philosopher Aristotle as his tutor. Under Aristotle's guidance, Alexander developed a love for learning, strategy, and the heroes of Greek legend. He devoured tales of Achilles, Heracles, and other legendary figures, yearning to emulate their feats of courage and strength. He found his chance sooner than expected. With his father's assassination, the weight of Macedon and the dreams of empire fell upon his young shoulders. Alexander would not be found wanting. He would rise to the challenge, becoming a legend in his own right. The world would soon tremble before the name Alexander the Great. Before marching east to face the Persians, Alexander had to secure his own backyard. The Greek city-states, long resentful of Macedonian dominance, saw Philip's death as an opportunity to break free. Thebes, a powerful city-state with a history of defiance, rose in open rebellion. Alexander responded with swift and brutal efficiency. He marched south with his army, determined to make an example of Thebes. The siege was short and bloody. Alexander's forces stormed the city, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. Thebes was utterly crushed, its citizens slaughtered or sold into slavery. The message to the rest of Greece was clear. Alexander would tolerate no dissent. The brutality at Thebes sent shockwaves throughout the Greek world. The other city-states, cowed by Alexander's ruthlessness, quickly fell into line. With Greece under his control, Alexander could finally turn his attention eastward. The Persian Empire, vast and wealthy, had long been in Macedonian sights. Philip had planned to invade, and Alexander was determined to carry out his father's unfinished business. He assembled a formidable army, comprised of Macedonians and Greek allies. His troops were well-trained, well-equipped, and eager for conquest. Alexander's army was more than just a fighting force. It was a reflection of his leadership and strategic brilliance. He understood the importance of logistics, discipline, and morale. He inspired his men with his own courage and determination, leading from the front and sharing in their hardships. He was a master of combining different fighting styles and units, seamlessly integrating cavalry, infantry, and siege weapons. His early victories in Greece had honed his skills as a commander. He had learned the importance of decisive action, the need to adapt to changing circumstances, and the power of fear as a weapon. These lessons would prove invaluable as he faced the might of Persia. The young king was ready to etch his name into the annals of history. The Persian Empire stood in his way, but it would not stand for long. In 334 BCE, Alexander led his army across the Hellespont, the narrow strait separating Europe from Asia. This was no mere raid. It was the start of a full-scale invasion. His goal was nothing less than the conquest of the entire Persian Empire. The Persian king, Darius III, vastly underestimated the young Macedonian king. He dismissed Alexander as an insignificant threat. He believed his vast armies and resources would easily crush the invaders. This would prove to be a fatal miscalculation. The first major clash came at the Granicus River in Asia Minor. The Persian forces, commanded by local satraps, were confident of victory. They vastly outnumbered the Macedonians. But Alexander, a brilliant tactician, used his army's mobility and discipline to outmaneuver the enemy. He led a daring cavalry charge, shattering the Persian lines and securing a decisive victory. The Battle of Granicus announced to the world the arrival of a new military power. It was a sign of things to come. Alexander's victory at Granicus sent shockwaves through the Persian Empire. Darius III, finally realizing the gravity of the threat, began assembling a massive army to confront the Macedonian king. He planned to crush Alexander with sheer numbers. Meanwhile, Alexander continued his advance, liberating Greek cities along the Ionian coast that had long chafed under Persian rule. He was hailed as a liberator, further boosting the morale of his troops. The stage was set for a confrontation of epic proportions. Two of the ancient world's greatest powers were on a collision course. Their armies would soon clash in battles that would decide the fate of empires. The world watched with bated breath. The clash of titans was about to begin. Subscribe emgotvHistoryWarfare.